जो हज़रत नमाज से फारिग हो गए उनसे गुजारिश है कि आगे करीब तशरीफ़ ले आए. Brothers who have completed the salah are kindly requested to come forward, making sure that there are people still praying salah. Make sure you're not going in front of the salah. Brothers are requested to come forward. Inshallah, we will continue this week, being our 4th week of this Adhan series. Inshallah, we will go through the common mistakes in Adhan, and this week we will be doing practical Adhan and finishing off the whole series next week, because it was 5-week series. The last week, the final week being the next week, going through Iqamah, inshallah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulihil kareem, amma ba'd. Respected brothers and elders, as we know that we have been for the last 4 weeks, 5 weeks, we have been going through this Adhan series. Adhan being one of the very important symbols of Islam, Sha'a'ir Islam. Sha'a'ir meaning it's a symbol of Islam where it is being called ad-da'watu tamma. This is a complete da'wah where a mu'adhin calls out for the prayers, the afdal ibadat salah, and he calls out by saying Allahu Akbar, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, the shahadatain, ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, the da'wah towards salah, da'wah towards hayyal al-falah, the success, and finishing it off by takbir, Allahu Akbar, la ilaha illallah. So it is very important that we pronounce and we say these words, the mu'adhin, for him to read these words correctly. There's many things that we have already gone through, so we're not going to be going through them, the common mistakes in Adhan that we've started last week. And I'm just going to go through last week. There are 4 things we have to remember in Adhan. Four things to get our Adhan correctly. This has also already been repeated. This is just a repeating of what's already been said last week. Number 1, the pronunciation should be correct. Make sure our pronunciation of each letters in the Arabic are correct. Number 2, our the stretches, which letters or which words we should stretch on. Number 3, for Adhan to be correct, is the sukoon, where we place the sukoon. And when we go through each of the phrases, we inshallah will go through where to place the sukoon. It is important to place the sukoon, the harakat, correctly. And lastly, number 4 is then the voice and to the sound, and to beautify the Adhan, you can make and try to copy or try to have a nice voice and the sound. It needs to be loud and in a good voice, like the Prophet ﷺ chose Bilal radiyallahu ta'ala and Abu Mahdura. So these are the 4 things, if we remember in Adhan, inshallah we practice Adhan keeping these 4 things in mind throughout all the slides and all the sentences. Just keep the pronunciation, the stretches, the sukoon, and then lastly how to do the Adhan in what manner. So there will be the people who are beginning, or the beginners, what voice or what tune you can choose. Inshallah we'll go through it. So just quickly going through it, the Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, the letter stretching is wrong on the alif here. Allahu Akbar, meaning the alif or the hamza here, make sure the ya sound does not come out when you're pronouncing. This we've already done last week. Allahu Akbar, some pronounce it Wakbar with a waw. Allahu Akbar, that's the correct way. Allahu Akbarul, this is again sakin on the ra. Some pronounce it Allahu Akbarul, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, but Allahu Akbar, to place a sakin is important on the ra. And akbar, again the stretch on the ba is incorrect. Allahu Akbar. These are the common mistakes in Allahu Akbar, and then we practiced last week Allahu Akbar, how to say it. And ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, making sure the seen, I think pronunciation of the sheen is correct, not a seen. The second one is to change the letter. Ashhadu wanna, it's a common mistake. Without realizing, people pronounce a waw, and it's ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. So ashhadu wal la ilaha, ashhadu wal la ilaha, ashhadu an la ilaha. People pronounce a noon, where is a idgham there. When idgham happens in the Arabic, when you read Quran, the noon is not pronounced. So you read it ashhadu Allah, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. The noon idgham is with a lam. Ashhadu an la ilaha, stretching on the ha is incorrect. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. We've done this last week, that's why we're going fast. Inshallah we'll be starting from hayya ala salah this week. These are the 4 common mistakes in the phrase ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, there are 4 common mistakes. Again, the common mistake, ashhadu, the sheen is correct, seen, small seen is incorrect. Ashhadu wanna, that is a common mistake. Ashhadu wanna is ashhadu anna. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan, some people stretch on the noon. Again, stretching is incorrect. Remember, all these mistakes are either changing the letter, stretching the letter, or maybe sukun or the harakat mistake. These are the three common mistakes that people make. So all of these mistakes, you will notice that it's either one of the three. Here people will stretch. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Rasulallah. Harakat mistake. The harakat again. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. It's got a dhamma pesh. So Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. And these are the four common mistakes in Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Now moving on to today, the Hayya ala salah, Hayya ala falah. They are called Hayya ala tayn. Where Hayya, remember I went through the translation, Hayya means to come towards. Hayya. So we'll go over the practice. Hayya ala salah, the common mistakes in Hayya ala salah. The first common mistake that people make is the ha. The ha is a big ha, so you would say hayya ala salah, hayya, not hayya, hayya ala salah. People won't realize it. These mistakes are made without realizing, or maybe no one has, told us, because hayya means come towards. Hayya does not mean come towards. It doesn't have a meaning or changes the meaning. So hayya, ha ya zabar hayya ala salah. Hayya is a word. So hayya ala salah, making sure the ha is the first, changing the letter. Remember, number one was pronunciation, making sure the ha is corrected or pronounced correctly with a big ha. Second mistake people make is they stay on the ya and make it sometimes, maybe for the voice or the sound, they stay on the ya or maybe do the tashdeed or the idgham very long. According to the Arabic rules, this is incorrect. Say hayya, a lot of hayya, or to it very long, because there's no reason, according to the qaida and the rule, there is no reason for the ya, or there is never a stretch or a mud on the ya. So there is no rule there that one would need to stretch the ya. Hayya, too long. So it might be because of the sound, you might stretch it a bit. Hayya ala salah. But some do it very long, which becomes incorrect according to the Arabic text or the grammar or the syntax, nahwa. There is no rule there according to Quran and Tajweed. So yes, you want to make your voice or you want to make your adhan beautiful, but remember, when you're trying to make something beautiful, but then you are breaking the qaida or the rules of the tajweed or the Quran or the Arabic recitation, then that beautifying the adhan, there is no point, because you're pronouncing it or you're doing the wrong qaida. So if you want to even make it beautiful, then if you have to stretch maybe a bit just for the sound or the tune, then maybe a little bit, half a second, but people, that would be very long, which would be incorrect. So hayya ala salah, hayya ala salah, hayya ala salah. It's easy just to do hayya ala salah. So the first mistake was a ha, second was a ya. So every letter, the first one common mistake, second one common mistake is the second letter, the third common mistake is the third letter. So people, when they pronounce, they miss out the ayn on the ala. So they would read it, hayya ala salah, hayya ala salah, hayya las, and they would completely miss out the ayn. It's hayya ala salah. There are three words in the hayya ala salah. Hayya, number one, ala is the second. Ala is the second word. You have to read ala, not just la. Hayya ala salah. So the correct way is hayya ala as-salah. Hayya ala as-salah. Okay, hayya ala as-salah, incorrect, where there's no ayn sound. The ayn sound needs to come out. Then only you're pronouncing it. Ala would mean towards. The letter ala means towards salah. Hayya means come, ala towards. Now if you say la, la doesn't mean anything in Arabic. Hayya las salah. La actually means no. If you say hayya las salah, so it means come, no salah. That would actually hayya las salah, la as salah. So it would change the meaning, and then your da'wat is completely incorrect. Come, no salah, and it doesn't mean anything. So make sure the ayn comes out correctly. And another common mistake, as-sad is, as-salah is with a sad and not a sin. Hayya ala salah, salah. People say hayya ala salah, hayya ala salah, salah. Sin, even sin, salah doesn't mean, salah means salah, namaz. Salah doesn't mean namaz. So the correct way is to make sure the sad, full mouth, sad comes out. There's a difference. Sad, sin. Sad, sin. So hayya ala salah. Incorrectly, hayya ala salah. There's a very big difference. So if the sad comes out, then the word salah will be pronounced. Otherwise, salah. Hayya ala salah. Another common mistake. Number 5, fifth common mistake. Hayya ala salah. They don't pronounce the ha at the end. There is a ha. The round ta turns into a ha, which is a rule of waqf, which we've done in Ahsan al-Qawaid when we were in Maktab. That the round ta, when you stop on the round ta, here, what happens? It changes into a ha. So the pronouncer, hayya ala salah, ha needs to come out. If you just leave it, hayya ala salah, that means you haven't pronounced a ha again, then you're pronouncing salah, salah. Salah does not mean namaz. Salah without the round ta does not give the meaning of namaz. So make sure the ha comes out, and the ha comes out, as that's a 6th common mistake. The ha is a small ha, not hayya ala salah. This would be incorrect. Salah is with a small ha. It's not actually ha, it's a round ta which has turned into a small ha. But then people completely change this and would read this as a big ha. Hayya ala salah. So this would be incorrect. Hayya ala salah is the small ha. Again, that small ta changes into a ha. This is how it's written, but when you do waqf on a round ta, we've learned this, you would change it into a ha. So these are 5 common mistakes. The hayya ala salah is where it's got the most mistake. There are 5 common mistakes in this phrase. Again, going through it quickly. Number 1 is the first letter ha, big ha. Second one, it's the ya and not stretching the ya too much. Number 3 is ala, make sure the ayn comes out. Leaving out the ayn would change the meaning. Number 4, sad. Number 5, the round ta is there's a ha there and a small ha instead of a big ha. Now inshallah we'll go on to practice this keeping these mistakes, or making sure we're not making these mistakes. So let's practice. So we'll go through word by word and then we'll join it up together. Okay, so we'll take the first word. Again, last week I've also explained that wherever you see blue, it's mud. Where the white colored, they are the gunnas, and the places that I have highlighted in blue, they are underlined. They're full mouth, and the blue ones are the mud. So let's take word by word. So first word is say hayya. Say, let's say, get this word correct. Say hayya, hayya, hayya. So once you get the ha right, hayya, alas. Now get the second word and you have to join it. Alas. Ain with a lam and join it with a sad. Alas. Alas. Now join them up. Hayya alas. Hayya alas. Hayya alas. Salah. Salah. Sad. Okay. Salah. And the small ha. Salah. So now just do all this. Hayya ala salah. Hayya ala salah. Hayya ala salah. Now let's start from the beginning. Remember, okay, we'll do all this practice again. When we start, in the way to do, I told you the first time when you do it, the first rhyme, you can get the way to do it. You project your sound and take it higher. Then once you've taken it for the first time, and have the same sequence all the way through. So Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, Hayya ala salah. So once you get the sequence, you can do it for all of it through the adhan. And that's the first way for it. And then the second time it would all be the same. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. If you have a longer voice and you can stretch it longer. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. And you can stretch that. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Hayya ala salah. So have the sequence, so your sequence of adhan is same all throughout. This is just for the beginners. I mean, if you want to copy the Hijazi adhan, the Makkah, Medina, they have different way of types of adhan. You get the adhan for Sham, Misr. They do it different way. Philistine adhan. There are different ways of doing it. I mean, if you can copy and you can do it like them, then mashallah. But if you haven't got any tune, for the beginner, this tune will be the easiest. So let's go through it. Remember the Allahu Akbar, lam full mouth, and stretch if you want to stretch, or you don't need to stretch on the Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Remember the sakin there? And the first time. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Okay, lam full mouth. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. The second time you come down, so you take it up and then you bring the sound down. Say again, Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Okay, so first time you take it up, second time you bring it down. It's just that tune to bring in the. There's nothing wrong, different tune, but this is just for the beginners. Now coming to today's lesson, Hayya ala salah. The reason I'm choosing this tune is the easiest tune for the beginners. So for the beginners, it's the best tune. Hayya ala salah. Okay, inshallah, when we finish adhan, I'm going to be calling people forward. If they're ready to give an adhan or demonstration, then we can take mistakes out. We can practice like this, because the maqsad of this, again I said, ta'aleem wa ta'allum, is to teach and learn. And the maqsad and the purpose is our adhan is correct, that when we give adhan, mentioned last week, that people listening to our adhan would come to namaz. People listening to adhan feel like coming to the adhan. And that's why it's very important for the mu'adhin to learn the meaning, do it according to the meaning, do it from the heart, and then do it correctly. Inshallah, our adhan will be so powerful that it will make people come to salah. Even if they listen to it in the receiver at home, they think, I want to go to salah. That's how powerful our adhan should be. Now we're going to Hayya ala al-falah. Hayya ala al-falah, there are, again, the similar mistakes to the Hayya ala salah. The first one being the ha. It is a big ha. Make sure that it is hayya. It's the same. If you practice on hayya ala salah, it's the same. Hayya ala salah. The same mistakes. Is ha, as in big ha, not the small ha. The second common mistake is the same mistake people make in hayya ala salah. If you correct the hayya ala salah, your hayya ala falah will be correct. But if you make the mistake in hayya ala falah, hayya ala salah, you would make the same mistake in hayya ala falah. Again, ya, hayya ala falah, hayya. That is very long or too long. even to fit into a tune, it is not jaiz. In Quran, recitation, to fit a tune, you stretch something very long. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil La. You're stretching Madd Asli for more than one alif. Very long, more than what you need to stretch, it is incorrect. Similarly, in the Arabic language, in the Adhan, if you stretch a Ya, Hayya ala salah, very long would be incorrect. Similar, Hayya ala al-falah. Third mistake is the same mistake, is the Ain. Again, Hayya ala salah, people who read, there'll be Hayya lal falah. Hayya la al falah. This would completely change the meaning. Hayya means come, no success. Come, no success. It just doesn't even make sense. It's just picking up words. It's not even a sentence. But it would not even mean come towards salah. Ala would make the meaning or give the meaning come towards the salah. Or come towards falah means success. Okay, the third mistake, the ha. Now in salah, it's a round ha. But in falah, it's a big ha. So the common mistake or incorrect way of saying it is small ha. Hayya al falah. It's a common mistake that we don't realize that in salah is different, falah is different. So they sometimes do the same. And many more others sometimes without realizing. I've heard myself, they say Hayya al falah. In fact, the correct way is Hayya al falah. Falah. Finish off with the big ha and make effort to finish off with a big ha. If we can't practice, it comes from the middle of the throat. Ha comes from the middle of the throat. It's a throat letter we have done in tajweed, hurufi halqi. There are 6 letters, Hamza ha, Ain ha, Ghain kha. Hamza ha comes from the bottom of the throat, middle of the throat, Ain and ha, and Ghain and kha, top of the throat. So when you do as-salatu khayrum minan nawm, kha would be needed. Small ha, bottom, Hamza ha, bottom of the throat. Ain and ha, top, middle of the throat. So hayya ala salah, bottom of the throat. Hayya ala falah, middle of the throat. The ha comes from the middle of the throat. That's the makhraj of the ha. So hayya ala falah, falah. If you can't pronounce it, then we'd rather wait and let someone who can pronounce it, let them do the adhan and keep practicing. Nothing is impossible. Allah Ta'ala has made them recite and given the Quran and the adhan to the Arabs and the non-Arabs, the Ajmis and the Arabis. We are Ajam, we are not Arabic unless those Arabs are saying here. But if you are non-Arab, yet Allah will say, La yukallifullahu nafsan illa wus'aha. He does not make mukallaf. He does not put bows or a burden on a nafs what he cannot bear. If Allah Ta'ala wanted us to pronounce Hayya al-falah of the Quran and we can't do it, no, Allah has made it easy for everyone. وَلَقَدْ يَسَّرْنَا الْقُرْآنِ, the Arabic language, for everyone to learn. If we can't pronounce a ha because we've never tried, then practice, start practicing. It might take 1 month, 2 months, but inshallah we'll get it correct. To finish it off with a big ha. Hayya al-falah. So these are 4 common mistakes in Hayya al-falah. We'll just we'll practice a bit. So the word Hayya al, we've already done, so we're just going to do it together. Hayya al-falah. So the first time is without the tune to get the pronunciation right. Hayya al-falah. So maybe you're we might be exaggerating now, but that exaggeration is just for practicing. But when you do adhan, you won't be exaggerating that much mubalagha. But for now, maybe for practice, you may need to exaggerate to make sure that the ha comes out. Hayya al-falah. And I said, I mentioned another thing, full mouth. There's no full mouth letters in here. So in a sad, there is a full mouth. Hayya al-salah. I underline the sad, but there is no falah, falah. Lam is not full mouth in any case except for the lam of Allah. So lam, falah, falah or ala, the lam is not full mouth. Hayya alal falah. So let's practice. Hayya alal falah. Project your voice sound and make it higher. حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح. Let's start from the beginning. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Remember the sequence of the first sentence? Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. Okay, the noon, there is no alif after it. Muhammadar, ha needs to come out correctly. Okay, now again, ha. Hayya ala salah. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. And this would be on different people, different voice. Some people have long break. They can do it for a very falah. For this tune that I've just chosen is just for the beginners. And the reason is people who have short breath, even them, they can follow this tune because then you can add your tune and listen to the adhan. So this is for the beginners. You know, if like when I said hayya al falah, that still sounds perfect. But if you have long breath, you can say hayya al falah. The way Makkah or Medina, when we hear, you can choose your tune, whichever adhan you like. But the basics, you have to get it right. Basic, the sukoon, the pronunciation, that you get it right. Then you work on the sound, the voice, or the technique, what you want to do it. The basics has to be correct. Now we're going to run to Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Again, we have already done all the common mistakes. Allahu Akbar, remember, not Allah, the Lam of Allah is poor, not Akbar or Akbar, Allahu Akbar. We've already done this, we're not going to go through this. Let's just do it again. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Most important is the sukoon again. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. I mentioned last week the Lam of Allah here. Some people stretch. There's both you can do. Some people, according to some ulama, scholars, it is incorrect to stretch the Lam of Allah. Inshallah, Mullah Ali Qari writes that it is incorrect to stretch the Maddi Asli for more than Alif. So according to him and some of the Mu'adhin practices, they will never stretch Allahu Akbar, whether it is in the beginning or the end. So they wouldn't say Allahu Akbar, they say it's incorrect. But according to some, Imam Tahawi, and I mentioned in Musigha, it is mentioned that you can have another mud when it's for azmat. Azmat, something for honor. The name of Allah is honor. For honor and for adhan, it is permissible. So that's the only place, even it's only Maddi Asli, then that is how you get Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. So people do stretch the Lamb of Allah. Again, it is up to the person. You can, Mullah Ali Qari's opinion, it is incorrect, and according to the other scholar, it is correct. But again, it's when you choose the adhan, you want to choose the adhan you follow, then it is up to your own choice. Then finally, you have La ilaha illallah. The La ilaha illallah, it's like La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. So the La ilaha illallah, the people stretch the ha. But ha to correct or put an alif after La ilaha illallah, you're trying to stretch it, so La ilaha illallah, it is incorrect. La ilaha illallah, ha zabar ha, very important. La ilaha is incorrect. Another illallah, there is some people don't pronounce the tashdeed correctly or clearly. La ilaha illallah, 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 illa Allah. So there is no deity, there is no ilah, there is no ma'bud, there is no khuda, illa except for Allah. So illa has to come out. Illa is emphasizing La ilaha illallah. So there is no ma'bud. La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. So there's only two common mistakes. The rest is also, it is clear, and the Allah, the Lamb. The stretch in La ilaha illallah, you can say La ilaha illallah. Madde ariz waqfi there, madde munfasil there. There are two mads in the La ilaha illallah. So the mud is the first one, Lam of Allah here, full mouth. Okay, these are the things to remember. So La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. Remember, you're finishing off the adhan here, so you don't need to, because there's no La ilaha illallah is the only sentence is pronounced once. If you look at Allahu Akbar 6 times, 4 times at the beginning and 2 times near the end. Then Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, Hayya ala salah, Hayya ala falah, they're said twice. Whereas La ilaha illallah is only said once. So you have to choose the tune, or you have to do in a way, or when you listen to the mu'adhinins of any mu'adhin, you listen to all those mu'adhins, you would listen to them as they're finishing it off now, and they would do it in a certain way. So you wouldn't want to do it, La ilaha illallah, finishing off, there's nothing wrong. So there's nothing wrong, there's not grammatically or, usul or the masla that it's wrong, but it's just better way for the person choosing a tune. You'll see the mu'adhin, they were finishing off in a certain way. And again, if you do this by the heart and for the meaning, La ilaha illallah. Okay, so La ilaha illallah. Sorry. Okay, so we're just going to practice one more time, the full adhan, and then inshallah, if someone can come forward, volunteer, anyone that is ready, they can come forward, do the adhan. You will learn different things. One faida benefit will be that a person doing the adhan, you'll be able to pick out the mistakes, and we can ask if someone doesn't mind being corrected in front of everyone, which is practice. We're all learning. No one is perfect. So if someone can come forward, inshallah, they can practice. Whoever wants to come forward, and then we can take out the mistake, or we can point out the mistake. We can even, when we pick up the mistake, then we realize that these are the mistakes, or at least someone has listened to adhan. This is very important that when we do adhan, we read or we pray or do the adhan in front of someone who knows how to do it correctly. So if we can do that, then it will be very good. We can even split up into groups, and if we have time, people have time, we can listen to every single one of us, maybe not in the mic because you don't want people to listen to it, then we can just listen to it, just the adhan, and then correct it, inshallah. Maybe this session, maybe the next session, if people are ready, we can put people in groups, and those people, we have mashallah here, 3-4 mu'adhin who are regular, they do give adhan in our masjid, they do have good adhan, the correct way of doing the adhan, maybe they can help, and at least for the beginners get the adhan right. So let's go through the full adhan, and again keep these things in mind, all the mistakes. Next slide is as-salatu khayrun min an-nawm, and we'll finish off today. only have one slide left. As-salatu khayrun min an-nawm, the common mistakes in this. Let's just do the normal adhan. So, again, remember the underlined are the full mouth, the mads are the blue, highlighted in blue, and the gunnas only in Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. These things to remember. And the first time you do it, you project your sound, and it's as though you do it high and get high. And the second one you do a bit more low, just for the tune, for the beginners. Okay? Let's start. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله. Okay, so this is the correct way of doing the adhan. We've finished our adhan. If someone can come forward and they can do adhan if they are ready. If someone can volunteer, you want to come forward, Chala? MashaAllah. Okay, stand here. Just do the adhan. Yes.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
Can you see any common mistakes there? Is there any mistakes there? No, there's nothing wrong with going there. The sound is okay. There's a wow sound there. If you listen carefully, there's a wow. If you remember, go back all the way to Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Okay, Allahu Akbar is incorrect. Allahu Akbar. At the beginning it said Allahu Akbar is with the alif, not wow there. So if it's practice, Allahu Akbar. That's why I used to do it very clearly when I used to do it. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. There's no wow there. Try again.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
There's wow and there's an akbar as well. So, do you understand? So these are the mistakes that it needs to be, because they're common mistake without realizing, we keep doing this, okay? Keep practicing. So we have to, if you get mistakes in Allahu Akbar, you have to practice Allahu Akbar. What's it? Muhammad Sadi. Muhammad, if you practice the first one, even because there's no point going ahead when you haven't practiced the first one. Okay, so practice the wow and the akbar. Is that okay? Next. Anyone else? Or buddy? Yes, at least you can practice our mistakes. Because when we get the mistake, at least we practice that mistake then. Gee. read that if you can. Dobara zara. Allahu, उसमें wow, there's a wow sound in there a bit. So the best way to learn that is Allahu, take that word, then Akbar, separate the words. Allahu Akbar. दोनों को अलग करो पहले. So you get Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. When you have two separate words, pronounce them separately. दोनों को अलग अलग उसको आप अदा करें. पहले अल्लाहु को अदा करें, फिर अकबर को अदा करें. अल्लाहु अकबर. जब दोनों को अलग अदा करेंगे तो वाव की बू जरा सी भी नहीं आएगी. बू इज इवन दैट साउंड एंड वंस यू गेट, जब दोनों को अलग कर दिया फिर दोनों को साथ में अदा करें. अल्लाहु अकबर, अल्लाहु अकबर. फिर उसको अजान में मुंतबिक करें. अल्लाहु अकबर, अल्लाहु अकबर. इसमें वाव की जरा सी भी बू भी नहीं आएगी. समझ गए? सो इफ यू कैन जस्ट प्रैक्टिस दैट तो
अल्लाहु अकबर,
मच बेटर. सी द डिफरेंस. Much better. Abhi now put it to. Maybe now when you pronounce it together, there is that a bit of that wow sound there. So that's why you have to keep doing the wow. Maybe because then that with the same mistake you will make an ashhadu walla ilaha, ashhadu walla, ashhadu wanna. Because that is a common mistake. Because it's just what happens is ashhadu. You know the reason that is a common mistake. You know the wow comes out from the lips. Wow की जो अदायगी है वो ज़बान से होंठों से निकलती है और होंठ जब गोल हो जाते हैं तो वाव निकलता है. तो क्योंकि अल्लाहु, अशहदु और अशहदु तीनों में जब दाल आखिरी जो हर्फ है उस पर पेश है तो उस पेश की वजह से हमारे होंठ गोल हो जाते हैं और उस गोल होंठ होने की वजह से वो वाव की बू आ जाती है. जब वो गोल होंठ के बाद अलिफ अदा करने जाते हैं, when we go from a dhamma and we're going on to an alif now, so what will happen is a wow sound will come out. समझ गए? तो इसलिए without realizing तो इस पर इन तीनों पर you'll have to अशहदु अल्ला इलाहा. जरा आप करें if you don't mind. You can do अशहदु अल्ला इलाहा. Do that one. There you go. Ashhadu wallah. Same mistake. Ashhadu Allah. So you play ashhadu. Say ashhadu.
Ashhadu.
Allah. Allah. Or the lam is not full mouth. It's not underlined. So Allah. Allah. Okay. So ashhadu.
Ashhadu.
Allah. So ashhadu Allah.
Ashhadu Allah.
Okay. So that's better. Ashhadu anna.
Ashhadu anna.
Yes, it's better. So if you practice like that, उसमें भी the Allahu Akbar उसको दोबारा अगर इंशाल्लाह ठीक है practice करते रहेंगे इंशाल्लाह ठीक है. जज़ाकल्लाह. Someone else? Ali साहब, हमारे मुअज़्ज़िन. Anyone else that want to do the first? Brother, you want to come forward inshallah? Anyone else that want to come forward? उसमें क्या कि you get practice. It's just practice. नहीं मैंने अल्लाहु अकबर अल्लाहु अकबर नहीं, वो रा का साकिन. मैंने कहा उसमें 4 चीज़ें होनी चाहिए अजान में. सबसे पहली चीज़ उसकी अदायगी, दूसरी चीज़ उसके मद सही हो, तीसरी चीज़ अजान में उसके सुकून जो है तो उसमें अल्लाहु अकबर अल्लाहु अकबर. वो पिछले हफ्ते वो हदीस भी और उसमें जज़म और जो तरीका है वो अजान का, तो अल्लाहु अकबर उसको साकिन, रा को साकिन करना यही सही तरीका है. तो अल्लाहु अकबर उसको बाज़ फुक़हा ने उसको ज़बर कहने की और फ़तह या अल्लाहु अकबर सही कहा है, लेकिन बाज़ के नज़र सही तरीका तो यही है क्या रा साकिन सुकून के साथ. जी इंशाअल्लाह. That's correct. MashaAllah. जी माशाल्लाह. बाशो दोबारा ये जरा दोबारा करो. अशहदु. Wow. There's a bit of, if I don't know if I'm a bit of that wow. थोड़ा सा वाव की बुआ रही है सब. अशहदु अल्लाह. अशहदु अल्ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह. अशहदु अल्लाह. अशहदु हा छोटी हा है. Ashhadu Allah. There's another say. I should have mentioned this comment. This lam, and the brother before as well. Ashhadu Allah. Ye lam, I haven't underlined it. I should have put that down in the common mistake as well. The lam is empty mouth. The lam of Allah. पूरे कुरान में सिर्फ अल्लाह का लाम पुर है. ये दूसरे बाकी तमाम लाम बारीक है. किसी लाम को पुर पढ़ने अशहदु अल्लाह ये लाम अल्लाह का लाम नहीं है, इलाहा का भी लाम बारीक होगा, सिर्फ लाम अल्लाह का लाम जो होगा वो पुर है पूरे कुरान में। सिर्फ एक दूसरी क़िराअत में इमाम वर्श के नज़दीक दूसरे लाम पुर होते हैं, क़िराअत सबा, और ये बाकी जो लाम ऑफ अल्लाह, अल्लाह के लाम के अलावा बाकी तमाम लाम बारीक। तो इसको अशहदु अल्लाह ला, अशहदु अल्लाह लाम पुर करने के लिए आपको ज़बान को फैलाने की ज़रूरत नहीं है और मुंह फूल जाता है जबकि लाम पुर होता है। तो ला इल्लल्लाह, इल्लल्लाह ये पुर है, that's a full mouth, but the lam other than the lam of Allah is never full mouth, so you would never say अशहदु गलत, सिर्फ ज़बान को अपने मसूरे जो है उस पर टच करना है ऊपर। लाम की अदायगी है कि तरफ़ ज़बान, तरफ ज़बान का तरफ होता है वो ऊपर मसूरों पर लगता है, बस उससे लाम अदा हो जाते हैं। अभी ज़बान को फैलाने की और मुंह को फैलाने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, you don't need to stretch, so otherwise a full mouth lam will come out. दोबारा कोशिश,
अशहदु अल्ला,
much better. See,
अशहदु अल्ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह।
यहाँ भी इल्लल्लाह में ये लाम बारीक है, ये लाम पर इल्लल्लाह wrong, illallah, illal, illau, illa, first lam is empty mouth, second mouth full mouth, illallah.
अशहदु अल्ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह।
Okay, so illallah, that's another comment. So lam is another mistake that one more person. See, when we get like this, more people will come and we understand more mistakes and we learn more mistakes like this. You want to come forward? Yeah. One more time and then we're just going to finish you off because it's already past 7. Ji, mashallah, Riyadh. Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
Any 1 minute? Any mistake that anyone realized or picked up on? Wow. Someone said there, wow. No, there's nothing wrong with the sound. The louder it is, the better it is. Do you understand? Because as Bilal radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he said, Prophet said, فَإِنَّهُ أَنْدَى صَوْتًا, सबसे बुलंद आवाज़ हज़रत बिलाल की थी। तो मक्का में भी जब फतेह मक्का हुआ तो he put Hazrat Bilal forward because very loud. Medina, he was made the muadhin. And then when they conquered Palestine, Hazrat Umar called Hazrat Bilal, you give adhan. Because there was no loudspeaker at that time. Because his sound was so loud, they would put him forward. So adhan is good, it's loud. Say it again, do it again. So someone said wow, I don't know who said it, but there's a wow in there, Riyadh, that you said Allahu Akbar. Do you know the common mistakes? Say that again, go on.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
Much better, much better. He gives, mashallah, हमारे Pringle street में he's adhan का भी देते हैं और मुअद्दिन, mashallah, of the Pringle Masjid, I've seen him, al-madad, isn't it? Go on, that's much better. Next, go on to the second sentence.
Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah.
There's a wow sound in there as well, yeah. Or same sound, same mistake. Like I said, if you get Allahu Akbar here, you're going to have this problem here and the here. It's very important. Like I said, if you have a problem with Hayya ala Salah, the common mistake you'll find in Hayya ala Salah. It's quite easy. So if you take the common mistakes out from here, then these 3 will be correct. And then if these are correct, then this is automatically correct. So it's not that important. It's only this sentence, and the Hayya ala Salah. Maybe 3 sentences you have to practice on. Because if you practice on this and these 2 sentences, automatically Ashhadu anna Muhammadan, Allahu Akbar, la ilaha illallah would come correct. But these 2, if you correct this, is that okay? One of the, Qari Saheb, just come forward and then we just listen to, and then inshallah we'll just finish you off. Chalo, one muadhin.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله.
So far no mistakes, mashallah.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله.
you may realize that he's not made the gunnah, but he's touched it, but it's not long. So you not necessarily have to do a long one. He's done Ashhadu anna Muhammadar. He's done it very lightly. So you can do it. Doing it too long as well would be incorrect. So this is a correct way he's doing it. Carry on. Sorry to disturb you. No, that's fine. Because they're probably looking at the screen. Carry on. Hayya ala salah.
Hayya ala salah.
When you're turning Hayya ala salah, only turn the head, not the body or the chest. Just the lawa unuqahu. So Bilal, he says he turned his unuq. Unuq is just the neck.
Hayya ala salah. Hayya ala al-falah.
The end is important. Carry on.
حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
MashaAllah. This is the adhan that we want to all trying to get to. Inshallah, like I said, today we'll just finish off. We're just going to do the as-salatu khayrun min an-nawm. We'll finish it off. Next week is our last. We're going to iqamat. But if people want to have lessons and they want to study the adhan, inshallah, what we'll do is we'll continue for the next 2 weeks. I'm ready to give the time, and we'll get the people who can, mashallah, give adhan, or who are regulars. Inshallah, we can read, go through the full adhan and have like a adhan class. Inshallah, in the next 2 weeks after the next week, till at least the holidays, or maybe even in the holidays. If you want to, we'll just open it to anyone, maybe Sunday after Isha again. People can come. We'll have 2-3 people who will be listening to adhan, full adhan, and practice. See, practice makes perfect. We just practice. It all comes to practice all the time. We've never ever practiced. But if you practice, inshallah, we can get the adhan. As-salatu khayrun min an-nawm. There's only a few mistakes. As-salatu is a sad. Okay, as-salatu khayrun min an-nawm will be incorrect. This is for the fajr namaz after the hayya ala-tayn. Khayrun. Again, I told you, kha is full mouth. Okay, top of the throat. Khayrun, ghalat, wrong, incorrect. Khayrun min an-nawm is incorrect. As-salatu khayrun min an-nawm. Okay, nawm is a nawm. Noon, wow, is our nawm. People say nawm. The wow is sometimes not, people don't pronounce. Very less people, but nawm, there's a wow there. As-salatu khayrun minan nawm. Salah is better than sleep. So nawm, it means to sleep. Nawm. Noon, wow, is our nawm. So these are the 3 common mistakes. We'll just go do this at the end in the adhan. It comes after the hayya ala-tayn. And again, full mouth. As-salatu khayrun. Say as-salatu khayrun. As-salatu khayrun minan nawm. Minan nawm. Remember the ones that are highlighted is that's where the only place you do the mad, and the 2 gunnas here. So let's do it again. As-salatu khayrun minan nawm. As-salatu khayrun minan nawm. Remember the lam again, I think I should have mentioned in all throughout, the lam of Allah is only full mouth. There is no full mouth letters here except for sad and the kha. The lam, as-salatu, would be incorrect. Like I said, people, ashhadu Allah, illallah, hayya, lost lam here, salah, all those lam are empty mouth, and then your adhan would be beautiful. Inshallah, this is the end of the session today. Next week we'll continue, inshallah, practice more iqamat. We'll finish that off, look at the common mistakes. Very easy. If you get the adhan correct, you will get your iqamat correct. It's just the way of doing it. And inshallah, maybe next week, if we do have time, we will inshallah have 3-4 mu'adhin, and we can split people up and then read our adhan to them, and just, like a class, maybe in the side room, and then we can practice our adhan. Okay, Jazakallahu khairan. وأحسن الجزاء سبحان الله وبحمده سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك ونشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام